Well, good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. Are we headed to World War III? You're probably keeping up with the news. You've probably heard it on other channels that World War III is imminent. You know that Ukraine shot a bunch of long-range missiles into Russia. That Putin had said that an action like that would be considered an act of war, which would include us, and that he reserved the right to respond in a way that would really set it off. And then just overnight, it turns out that Russia did fire an ICBM into Ukraine. So is it ramping up? And should you be worried? And what should you be doing? Every time something like this happens, it gins up the fear machine, and people go running all over the place, looking for their dopamine fix, and something to talk about, and something to get themselves riled up about. And the media knows that, and the media uses it, and it can be very destructive. Okay, now with that in mind, let's back up for a second and say, should you be concerned? Yeah, you should be concerned. The world is I won't say collapsing, but the world is headed in a very dangerous direction as a result of first off the weakness, and then the internal treason of the current administration. I've said before that the Democrats always want war. They have always wanted war, and they particularly want war when they need it to cover up their failures in the economy and world affairs and well, pretty much everything else. War is always their answer, and of course they need, and their corruption, and war always brings them billions of dollars, enriching them personally as well as corporately. War is good business, always has been. If you all haven't read War is a Racket by Smedley Butler, I suggest you do. I've been preaching that for years. Every war that we've had has been about money, and I would contend that none of them since the Revolution have been necessary, and that we did not need to be a part of them. Yes, I know that people will disagree with that. I don't care if you disagree with it. I would suggest you really study the situations behind every war, not what you learned in high school history class, but get down to it, and you will find that there are hidden hands behind the curtain that are using these things to transfer wealth out of the hands of the people into the hands of the elite, and also as a way to control the population, to send off our young men to war, to obliterate much of our populations, on and on and on. This is why we're headed in this direction now. It never had to come to this. It should not have come to this. I'm not going to get into the political. I'm going to stay away from that. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you something right now. I just made a video just for the Patreon people, just for the Patreon channel, because they are not anything against people who aren't on Patreon, but the Patreon people have showed that they are a thinking group. And I asked a question. It has to do about excuse me, I'm still getting over this. It has to do about a major change that I'm thinking about making with this channel. I am pretty much disgusted with the way much of YouTube preparedness has gone. It's become nothing but fear porn and clickbait titles, and trying to scare you every day about the collapse of the economy, and the world war starts tomorrow. Oh, wait, next day, but keep being scared. I think that it's become just a fear machine, and I don't like it. Now, however, that said, You do have to be aware of these things because, and the only reason you need to be aware of these things is so that you know what to do. You can make a decision about what to do. Okay. So yeah, we do have to admit that bad things can be coming. In this case, we got some I consider them maniacs running our country right now, trying to get us into a war before Trump gets in, because Trump will settle it down. He will settle this stuff right down. But they don't want that. They want for him to start his administration in the middle of a war, and they want this war because they know it will cover up many of their sins, and they'll make a lot of money at our expense. So let's get away from the politics for just a minute. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know. We don't need to know. I'm not saying that you don't and I do. We don't need to know every little infinitesimal step that occurs about what Putin said about this and what Medvedev said about this and what that little high-heeled dancer that runs Ukraine said about this and where did a rocket hit, and what we don't need to know that stuff. What we need to understand and what we need to realize is that crazy people are driving this. Now, what's this? What do you need to do about it? You need to simply be aware. You do not need to be scared. That's the first thing that I'm going to say. Do not be scared about this stuff. Don't need to concentrate on this to get that emotional urge. You need to think about this with a clear mind. I talked yesterday about 2 Timothy 1:7. We're not given the spirit of fear, okay, but of a sound mind. Use your sound mind to determine what you need to be doing. Understand the ramifications of war. And I know that people are trying to scare you about nuclear war. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. It could happen. I would think that if it were, it would be contained over in that region. Doesn't mean that that's good, but it doesn't also mean that one's landing in your backyard. I will be doing one here probably in the next week about whether you need a bunker or not. I'm going to talk about bunkers, but don't let the fear blind you of what you really should be thinking about. Now, here's what I would suggest you think about, okay? Because on this channel, and I talked about this on the one I just put up on Patreon, why I started this channel years ago, what I've seen the change in so much of YouTube, and what I want to change with this channel now. But I've always approached preparedness as something positive. It is not something to be done out of fear or reaction to fear. Okay, preparedness is an extremely positive activity in response to negative possibilities. As a matter of fact, the guy who wrote the foreword in my first book, The Reversion, I said that the book was an extremely positive story about how did he put it, an extremely negative situation. Okay, look, negative situations are going to happen all the time. The world is going to be collapsing in one way or another every day. Okay, that should not affect how you live your life, at least emotionally. Okay. You should see these things, you should understand these things, you should recognize these things, and then you should, with a responsible and clear mind, take those steps that are necessary to prepare yourself to continue to live well under whatever circumstances come your way. Simple as that. So realize what war could mean. It could mean shortages of things. And if this happens, let me interject this. If this happens, it probably will happen quickly because they need to get this. They being the Democrats, the secret hand, the whatever you want to call them, the swamp, the deep state, whatever. They need to get this done before Trump gets in, or it won't get done. Once Trump's in, trust me, this stuff will get settled down if it hasn't already started. Now, if it's already started, that that complicates things a lot. Will he be able to walk it back? I don't know. I don't know. But they need to get it done quickly. So you should be thinking about it now. Um, what war could mean is not probably going to mean a nuke landing, in your neighborhood. It's going to mean increased prices and things. It's going to mean, it'll mean a great. It'll be a shot in the arm to the stock market. So if you've got all the defense contractor stocks, you'll do well. It could mean, rising prices, shortages. It could mean a lot of things. Fuel prices would shoot up. They will try to use it, much like they did the Patriot Act, to try to put in place more restrictions on the American people, or if you're Australian, maybe in Australia, I don't know, Canadian, German, Britain, I don't know. They will use that. The governments always use it. And in some cases, it's necessary. When you're in a war situation, they need to, pay attention to communications. But they throw a wide net, and they usually, nowadays, want to use these things to gain more control over the people. So just be ready for that. But my message on this is World War III going to start? And the answer is maybe. My advice is don't fall for these people that are telling you it's going to start. They don't know, I don't know, you don't know. Okay? But the thing is, it might. And then don't run around all scared, because you're not going to make good decisions if you're making them out of fear. Take a good look and say, okay, these are the things that could happen with war. Like I said, increased prices, a compromised delivery system, a clamp down on constitutional rights, and increase, if they get this going, I don't think they have time to, I don't know. You don't know, to re-implement the draft. I don't know. And that's what a lot of people need to realize. The answer to a lot of these things is, I don't know. And you don't know. But you have to address it responsibly and get ready for it. So, as always, do what you should always do. Continue your preparedness. Take a look at what areas you might be a little bit weak in, and try to strengthen those. We're coming into a period of the year where there's a lot of sales on food. So if you're light on that, do it. Stock up more. Stock what you need. Look back. Use the lockdowns remember all those times when you couldn't get toilet paper or whatever. Use those times as a guide and say, what was it that we couldn't get? Make sure you have some. So my message to you today is World War III going to happen? It could, or it could not. Live your life positively. Keep living your life responsibly every day, because if you do it every day, you don't have to be scared and go up and down and riding this emotional roller coaster that so many people out there want you to ride because it's good, for them. All right. You all have a good day. If you're not with us on Patreon, we'd love to have you over there, and you can hear what I've been thinking about changing the channel, and you can express your opinion. Love to hear your opinion. Okay. You all have a good day. I'm going to get out of here and go live a positive day today, which I always do. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.